Oh man, dude, I'm super happy to be here. This is exciting.
Yeah,
I, I
thanks for
I
being
get
here.
I tend to start rambling sometimes a little bit as I get a little nervous, but
No,
so
that's
feel
fair.
free at any point to just kind of cut me off or okay.
Yeah,
What?
for sure. Yeah, all good. Yeah, so we're live now. So why don't you introduce yourself and like give the audience a bit of a background about yourself?
Sure. My name's Scott. I'm the owner of Bearded Coast Grooming. We're based out of Auburn, California. I started my journey with beard growth, like really getting into it, probably about 2 years ago. I started playing with oil blends and messing with creating beard products maybe about a year and a half ago, and we opened and went live mid-April of this year. So we've only been open for about 6 months, a little over 6 months as of today.
Cool.
So that's we we've been aggressive with trying to just get out there
Yeah.
and doing as good as we can to find ways and opportunities to give back to the community, to our local community, and just all over in general. That's kind of a big mission statement from us, and to
hmm
be as sustainable and eco-friendly as possible.
Awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely been cool to be kind of getting into the beard space like as of late, and just kind of like seeing like how many different companies there are, and like all the different like people within the companies, and like
Mhm.
yeah, it's a great community to be a part of for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's so fantastic, man. Like, I think that's even what made me really kind of continue to is uh is just how supportive the community is. The brotherhood that exists here
Yeah.
is really unlike no other that I've been involved in. I've been involved in a lot of different groups and organizations and
hmm
different things like that. And it's amazing how someone will just reach out and say, hey, how are you, and start up a conversation, and then you get deep into it and you're opening up about your family, your
hmm
life,
Yeah.
and you're just going off of each other and supporting one another. That's really just a fantastic aspect of this specific community that I love so much.
hmm Yeah, totally. So what are some of your favorite things to do?
Oh, I'm a huge comic book junkie.
Nice.
I've been a big nerd for a long time in that sense. So
Yep.
I love to read comic books. I'm one of those putting gloves on the hands people with bags and boards. So I'm
Solid.
nuts about it. I'll probably every time I buy a book, it's like I'll buy three of them so
Yeah.
that I don't touch two and I just read that other one.
Yeah, totally.
Um, Super hobby about it. I've always been that way, that's kind of one of my things. And then anything I can really do with my hands, like I like gardening a lot. It's
hmm
it's really actually very therapeutic. It's a lot of fun. So something like this too with beard products is I was able to create something with my hands and use a
hmm
lot of creativity to create scents, and label design, merchandise. It's been so much fun, and this has been a really therapeutic outlet in that sense too for me.
hmm
I have a lot of anxiety problems in a sense, and
hmm
my little OCD twitches. So
Yeah.
it's definitely been fun for that. So
Yeah,
I
totally.
think outside of that, I mean, um, I don't know. Right at this point, Halloween, I
Yeah.
decorated a little
Yeah,
for some of you
yeah, I
guys this
noticed
week.
that. Got a
I'm in my little
yeah,
garage dungeon and
yeah, couple of decorations up.
yeah, for fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's always cool like when I have people on this podcast, like seeing their different like setups and like
Hmm.
what they've got going on like in the background, and like kind of like picking out people's personality like through like what's in their backdrop, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'm zany, man. I'm crazy. I'm so random. I feel
Yeah.
sometimes yeah, there's skis above my head
Yeah.
I'm in the garage. There's like waterboard skis I don't even use. I never
Yeah.
will. I can't ever get up on a wakeboard, so it doesn't. It's not happening. But they're there. So
Yeah,
I don't
totally.
know why. Anyway.
Yep. I mean, you can see behind me, I've got a sword up
Yep.
there, like
Yeah.
duct taped to the wall, just
Awesome.
because I wanted to hang it up somewhere because it was just sitting in a closet.
Yeah,
So I was
and
like,
what better than duct tape? It's universal.
yeah, facts. Yeah. So moving on, what's one of your favorite places that you visited?
I went to Vietnam actually for a
Ooh, okay.
month when I was maybe like I'd say a little over 12, 13 years ago, somewhere around there.
Hmm.
That was a blast, man. I just roamed around and got to see a lot of different sites and immerse myself in a culture, that I had never been exposed to. So I think that's probably the coolest place that I was able to go and experience. Um, yeah, that's definitely the best one so far. But
Yeah.
I have a huge travel bug, man. If we just have little kids right now, so
Yeah.
there's no chance in anything like that crazy happening. It's like gonna be like Disneyland. That's gonna be the next madhouse, right?
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
but eventually we want to get out and try to explore more.
Hmm.
Germany will be my next.
Yep. Cool.
That's the big one, Oktoberfest.
Yeah. Awesome. What's a couple of your favorite genres of music?
I would say punk rock is probably my number one. I'm a
Yeah.
huge punk guy.
Cool.
I like also too like the grunge scene,
Yeah.
alternative. So I'd have to say a lot of that. A lot of inspiration from like the 80s, 90s. That's probably kind of more of my genre of music
Yeah.
that I gravitate to. But I really love everything for what it is if it's good, I guess. So like
Yeah.
I was listening to some Johnny Coltrane
Okay.
yesterday, just
Cool.
vibing away while I was making some stuff, and
Nice.
and it's just very very good music, and if it's good, if it sounds good, I really enjoy it. So
Hmm.
a little bit of everything, but I have to say I do gravitate to that or ska music's fantastic.
Okay.
It's very
Nice.
upbeat and
Yeah.
get going real big fish, and so
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot.
That's awesome. If you could have lunch with any four living celebrities, who would you have lunch with?
Ooh, living.
Yeah.
Four living celebrities. Oh man. Um, Dave Grohl.
Oof. Solid pick.
Just because he's too cool for school. Like I
Totally.
think it'd be a really fun conversation to hear about, like all the Nirvana days and
Oh,
stuff. And
100%. Yep.
Barack Obama. I would
Solid.
love to talk to Barack.
Yep.
That'd be sweet. Um, let's see. Another one. I know my buddies are gonna watch this later and go, "You didn't mention this person." And,
Yeah. There's so many possibilities.
man, dang, four. Um, who else would I? Oh, I don't know. Actually, that gets kind of. I mean, maybe De Niro would be sweet, or Sean. Oh,
Solid.
Sean Penn. Sean Penn. I'd like to talk to
Okay.
him.
Cool.
I want to hear about the like underground Spicoli times at Fast Times. That'd
Yeah.
be sweet.
Totally.
Um, ooh, and one more.
Yeah.
Oh, Tony Hawk would be sweet.
Oh, solid.
I would
Yeah.
dig that. I would dig
Cool.
that conversation. I think that group of people would be interesting.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. So much variety and like
Yes.
so many different experiences. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think like at least one of mine for sure would have to be Post Malone. I'm a big fan of
Oh
his
yeah,
music.
yeah.
Hey, and I went to his concert earlier this year in February, which was
Nice.
super cool. So he would have to be one.
Yeah.
Um, Greg Brzezinski from Beard Brand seems like a cool
Oh yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is always like even I've asked a lot of people this question, and even like coming up with four myself is always challenging.
It's tricky. Like two is good, like, but then
Yeah.
you really rack my brain at that fourth, and third. So
Totally. But yeah, that's two of mine off the top of my head. So you mentioned Barack Obama. So if you could sit
yeah.
down for a conversation with one U.S. president, would it be him?
What, living or dead, or
Yeah,
just
living or
living?
dead. Yeah, any.
Ooh, living or dead?
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh man, I don't know. I think the chance of potentially, since he's still living, talking to him would be sweet. But if I could pick a living or dead president, I'd
Yeah.
probably go back and talk to like Lincoln or something.
Cool.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, I think you would have to pick someone you could never talk to again,
Totally.
person to person. Like that'd be fantastic. I would
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it would always be. Yeah, definitely really cool experience.
Yeah.
So kind of switching gears a little bit. So what made you want to start growing a beard? You mentioned that you've been kind of like in this game for like the last
Mhm.
couple of years. Like, was that when you started growing your beard, or was it before then?
So I had always had facial hair, but it would always get to that. I would let it get to that awkward stage, and then it would start getting really itchy and uncomfortable. And then I would just kind of give up and, shave it down to stubble again. I never
Yeah.
had a smooth face, but I would just get to that point and kind of give up and let it heal. And then it would just grow back. And then I would do
Yeah.
it again because I just never got to that over that hump of being able to really grow. And, so I've always wanted to get to that point. I just never did. And it's funny because I always say I'm this IT nerdy guy. Like, why wouldn't I just Google some information? But I never did until just one day where I was just kind of like, man, I really, really, really want to like get over that once, at least just to see what it looks like and see how it feels. And I just really want to do it. And I finally did. I Googled, and the first thing that popped up was a video from Dan C.
Yep.
And I clicked on it. And I just started watching. I really liked his presence, and I liked the way he sounded, and he sounded educated. He knew what he was talking about, and he seemed like a friend. And you know what I mean, like not just a teacher, but like someone that I would talk to, like in my friend group.
For sure.
So I watched that video, and then I watched a few more videos, and I was like, man, this is great. And like he talked about beard oil and what great. Why haven't I tried that before? So I rushed down to Target that night. I think it was like 9:00 at night, right before they closed. I bought whatever they had on the shelf. I didn't care about scent. I went to my car and I put it in beard that minute in my car. And I drove home with greasy hands, but I had that like, that sweet relief. And I was like, that's it. Why didn't I try that before? So then it just kind of spiraled off there, and
solid. Are you working towards a specific beard length, or you just kind of seeing what happens?
I'm just kind of seeing what happens. I mean, or until the wife cuts it off, at some point and goes, all right, you're done growing now. This is getting too, but if I could go wizardly, that would be fantastic. But I who knows? I think where I'm at right now, I'm happy with it. But I'm letting it go just because I'd never been, this is like for me with trimming and regular maintenance and stuff like that to keep it looking good. This is since that video almost 2 years ago, right? Or 2 years ago. So it's taken me a while to get to that point, for like little areas to fill in and stuff like that. So I always tell people, make sure that, even though you might have a little patch, it sometimes takes time and it goes forward, and like, so it's just one of those awkward stage things that can last, for sometimes a few weeks or sometimes a couple months or so, but yeah. So I'm going to let it go until the wife either says, stop, cut it, it's too long, or I don't like it anymore, like that length and all.
Totally. I'm also just kind of just because like since like really this is like the first year that I've like gotten like seriously into like beard oil, and like I had a beard beforehand, but it was never that great. But then like this year I've like really started like focusing on it and like experimenting with different products, and like now I'm doing reviews and like all that kind of stuff. And this is the longest it's ever been for me. And I'm enjoying it. Like I like how it looks.
It's fun. It's like I'd gone through so many years of just the same face in a way, like the same look, and it was very refreshing to be able to get over that hurdle and start doing something different and seeing what it looks like. And it's been fun. It's definitely been a fun journey, like meeting the people, meeting other companies, talking to folks, and just having that community surround you about it. It's supportive and it's fun. It's encouraging. And it's nice to have that fun scent on you all the time. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, totally. So before starting Bearded Coast, what were some of the like early products that you like tried that you like enjoyed using?
Sure. So I would say that probably the first one that I really went and purchased was I tried Beard Octane.
Okay.
And then I moved to Fable.
Cool.
I really liked the caster and in that products, and it was cool to have to see all the fun stories behind stuff that attracted my nerdness.
Totally.
And I read an article Colin did actually that was really good. He talked about how that gamer genre was kind of forgotten or not thought of in the industry specifically. So when he started, that was something that that he wanted to niche himself into. And I think he's just done a fabulous job. He's fun, he's nice. And
For
so
sure.
that attracted me a lot, watching his videos as the wizard. And
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed. So I've been a long time adventurer of his, if you will.
Yeah.
And then I kind of started just really looking after that into any little small batch things that would pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And I still do that to this day. I'm still a huge hobbyist. I try
Yeah.
once a week if I can to buy something from another company I haven't tried before and
Cool.
support others out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm kind of like because like for a while I was using stuff from the beard struggle, and then,
Mm-hmm.
like I've since then moved away from that, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just been cool to like, and like I've been really deliberate recently about like buying from like smaller companies, just because I want, and like that was one of the reasons like behind like doing this podcast is like getting like people like from the different like smaller companies and like
Mm-hmm.
kind of putting some more eyes on them. Like so far I've had Colt Slack from Slack Squatch
Uh,
and Tyson from Copper John's Beard Co.
super nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And that's been super fun, and it's like putting some more eyes on them, and it's yeah, because I want to see the small guys grow.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I guarantee every one of us appreciates everything that any reviewer or podcaster or anyone in general does. You know, to the supporter that shouts us out on Instagram and says, "Hey, I got this in today. It smells great. Thank you guys."
Yep.
We all really genuinely appreciate that. You know, like it makes our day. And you know, I mean, I say it to a lot of people too. Like when they talk to me about it, it's like, dude, like I'm up sometimes so late at night and I'm exhausted, but I'm
Yeah.
making the butter, I'm making the balm, I'm putting the
Mhm.
labels on, scenting items, and
Yeah.
you know, wrapping things up in the way that I do and stuff, which
Yeah.
definitely takes a lot longer than it's, you know, expected. But it
Yeah.
makes it all worth it when someone reaches out just simply and says, "Hey man, like really enjoyed your stuff. That's really cool." It's like it's just a little warm feeling, you know. It's
Mhm.
very cool. We all appreciate it.
Totally. Yeah, and like I first heard about you guys through my buddy Adam,
Mhm.
Pero.Adam something on Instagram. I was like, "Oh, that seems cool." So then like I was like checking out your website and yeah, and then like recently started doing these like podcasts with like different owners, and I was like, "Oh, this might be cool to
Yeah.
get Scott on." And then speaking of Bearded Coast, how did you come up with that name?
Oh, so I get completely brain fried when I try to think of names for things. Like it's unless they just pop to me like that, which it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Um, so I was sitting there and I was trying to figure stuff out, and I was bouncing off my wife, and you know, I we both couldn't think of anything really. So I pulled my little group of friends together and I was like,
hmm
"Hey guys, I'm thinking of really like doing this. Like,
Yeah.
but I need a name that I can build around that makes sense from what I like." And I mean, I've always been a really big coastal guy. Like
Yeah.
I live in California, you know,
hmm
but I feel like really at ease and peaceful near the ocean or large bodies of water. That's just my element, if you will, is
hmm
water.
For sure.
So, um, you know, I wanted something to represent California a bit, or the coast in general. I wanted something to, you know, but a name that would make people understand what it probably was. So I think one of my friends, we were kicking around, just chatting on WhatsApp, and we were like,
hmm
going back and forth, and he was like, "Why don't you just call it Bearded Coast?" And I was like, "Dang it, I didn't come up with it. You did, you know." so, so I got to give him credit for that. But
Yeah.
it worked. I mean, it makes sense. Like I started really thinking about it. Then I started trying to brand around it, and you know, it really has grown into what it is, and it's so you know, that's kind of how the name came up.
That's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
what's what's your favorite scent and your favorite product that you guys make at Bearded Coast?
Um, I would have to say like my favorite product is probably the unsung one, which is the balm.
Cool.
Um, so I've been doing when I went to go create the balm, I really wanted to create something that was a hybrid in a sense, but it
hmm
had a strong hold,
Yeah.
or a stronger hold. So most of the time, every time I got a bomb, and I think that was a frustrating part, and I think that sometimes is even why some people have gone away from them and just gone to butters completely,
Yeah.
is that you'll buy a balm and it's either going to hold really well but have zero conditioning properties hardly at all,
Yep.
or it's going to be like zero hold, almost like it's just really just a waxed butter.
Yep.
And so I wanted to do something that was conditioning, and I wanted to do something that had a more of a I would say a medium to strong or medium firm hold,
Mm-hmm.
that actually would keep my flyaways down. I've my hair doesn't like lighter amounts of butter, or
Yep.
sorry, wax or whatnot. So
Yep.
after a lot of trial, this is the one that took me the longest to create out of anything. Was this? I couldn't tell you how many times I went back and did another batch, tweak this,
Yeah,
tweak that,
for
to
sure.
get it the way I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think balms are kind of an unsung hero, and I enjoy using it, and because it took me as long as it did to create, it's kind of my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Um, but I like all of my absolutely all my products.
Yeah, of course.
And I think the scent that I'm happiest with the most is probably Salty Vibes. If I had to be honest, that's definitely the one that everyone seems to really enjoy the most. I actually created this one for my dad. It was supposed to be just a Father's Day scent. It was one of
Yeah.
the, it was the first real big one that popped with people, but
Mm-hmm.
my dad is not a drinker whatsoever, but he loved whenever we go to Mexican restaurants or on Father's Day or things like that, he would
Yeah.
get himself like a virgin strawberry margarita. That's what he
Yeah.
liked, because
Yeah.
he's a sugar junkie.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make something with like that, for
Yeah.
him. And so I did that. I put it in a bottle, and he approved, and it was only supposed to be a Father's Day scent, but everyone seemed to like it so much that I just threw it into the main line.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so
That
it's
sounds
it is
awesome.
sold out. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, it'll be back soon.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely I
Thank you.
have like right now I have a list of it's got to be close to 50 companies at this point that I want to try
Yeah.
eventually.
Oh man, I'm the same way. I've got a bunch on my list too, and
Yeah.
again, I try to work down them once a week and stuff like that. So, um, give it time, we'll get through them. But then, it's what's amazing is, how many new companies are continuously popping up. It's
Yeah.
definitely a saturated market in the sense, and it continually grows.
Yep.
But I think that's good. I mean, I actually, I mean, I like the fact that there's so much diversity out there,
Mm-hmm.
and again, pointing to that, every beard is different, everybody's genetic makeup is so different.
Yeah.
What works well for me might not work well for you.
Mm-hmm.
The sense strength that I get in beard might be 8 hours for me, and it might be like 30 minutes for you. So,
Yeah.
it's so subjective to a person, an individual. So,
Mm-hmm.
having so many options out there, I think is fantastic. And there's
100%.
always something unique about a lot of them too, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's scents, there's new products being made, there's
Yep.
different blends of different things. So,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome. So we kind of touched on it a little bit, but like I kind of want to get more into like in depth. Like, why did you start Bearded Coast Grooming?
So, I was searching mainly for kind of like a hobby in a way. Like, so as I got into the community, I mean, you see a lot of people constantly posting things about like, oh, I'm trying to do this myself today, da da da.
Yeah.
And I mean, the products are kind of expensive, and I get it, but I get now why. I mean, it's definitely a lot of work.
Yeah, totally.
But and the quality of the oil really, and butters, things like that really matters, packaging.
Mm-hmm.
But so I just decided one day, I was like, well, I mean, I could try, why not? So I did, I basically just went on, Amazon. I bought, I think it was 13 to 15 or 13 to 16. I can't recall the number, but I made a list of carrier oils, and I
Cool.
was like, I want to try all these. I bought them all just in small bottles, enough to
Mm-hmm.
use for about a week or so at most. And I would use just that specific carrier oil for a week. I took notes. I rated it 5 to 1 to 0
Okay.
or 5 to
Cool.
0.
Yeah.
Just really wanted to know what each one would do for me. Um, and then at the end of all of that, I took the ones that I liked the most, and I was like, these are going to be my oil blend.
Mm-hmm.
But then it came to like, how do you blend it? So I started doing that. But um, I got all that done. And I found something I really liked. I started using it. And I remember I went into my barber and he was like, man, your beard's looking really good. And I was like, hey, thanks, man. Like, he's like, I was like, I started making this stuff myself. And he's like, really? And he wanted to try it. So I brought it in and then
Cool.
I showed it to him. And he was like, man, this is really good. Have you thought about selling it? I was like, no, I mean, not really, honestly. Like, I just wanted something to do as a hobby and something fun, for
Totally.
myself, and my friends I gave it to my friends liked it too. And, kind of on that, I was like, if he thinks it's good and I really trust his opinion, maybe I should try, why not just give it a shot? So I started creating the labels and designs. I started, fiddling with scents and things like that. I started really going further and, I just decided I was going to try, but I got to the point of like, I think it was Christmas or so, and COVID, after Christmas, COVID started becoming a thing. And then I remember the beginning of April came around and I went back to go get a beard trim, and my barber was like, hey man, have you got it going yet? I was like, I'm right on that cusp, man. But it's like, like I had relied on starting really locally. That's what my whole gear was, getting out to farmers markets, local events, things like that. Starting there before I really went online.
For sure.
But he's like, you should just do it, dude. Just do it. So I was like, all right, I'm in IT. So I was like, I can quickly pop up a site. No problem. Anyway,
sure.
let's just try. So I did. And it started becoming just really fun. And I started getting, just hitting up different people. People started hitting me up. Really, it's fun. It's amazing how fast, once you get a new beard company on Instagram or Facebook, especially Instagram, how people will find you and just start messaging you and going, hey, what's this? When did you start? How, are you, like, can I get some product for a review and test? And I was like, sure, man. I mean, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with the logo for Bearded Coast?
So I wanted it to be really, really clean. I wanted to look at this label. Like so when I started doing it, I was like, I wanted to picture this label in a store potentially. Like, so if it was ever going to get to that point, like, who knows, right? But I did not want to have to do a huge rebrand later if anything ever became of it.
Yeah.
So my initial thought was that, like, what if it ever got into a store or a shop? And or what if it was sitting on a barber shop or something like that shelf? Or what if it was sitting on a salon shelf? Like, how would it look? And my OCD takes over and says it has to be clean lines. It has to be black and white. You can't do anything else with it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh gosh, okay. So I worked with a good friend, and he helped me come up with the design.
Cool.
I could credit him actually too. He did a lot of the grunt work of it in essence. But yeah, so that's kind of what my thought process was going into it. And then it had to feel sort of Cali.
Yeah, totally.
So that in part was part of the logo creation as well. And I had this thing, I really wanted this little wave swoop in there because that was coast, so
For sure.
It kind of just working with him kind of just, became the label and design, but it had to remain, it had to feel Cali clean, and in that sense, I guess, and yeah, I like it. I think it came out really well.
Yeah, 100%. It's a great logo, and like I've been like kind of like dabbling with logo design for the last like couple of years, and
oh yeah,
like especially like since like doing these like discussions, like I'm always interested in like how you came up with the logo and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I really just wanted to see it, like, if in my mind, I wouldn't have been, my mind would not have let me do anything like too crazy as far as the design is concerned, but I do that with my merchandise, and I do that fun stuff with like stickers and postcards and different things like that. That's where I kind of allow that other creative side to come out, is through that design where I wanted the label specifically to look a bit different.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was a must. That was the first one that we did.
Yeah,
Um,
that's awesome.
yeah, it had so I got all of the merchandise design ideas like, and even the scents or anything like that. It all comes from something that I've seen or something very California
For sure.
vibed, you know.
Yeah,
So that design was designed to meet that Sailor Jerry
yeah,
kind of. You see it in the club at the bottom a bit, and the flowers, things like that. But then
yeah,
there's a few different like clothing companies that had inspired me to do you know, the rest of the design up top, and I thought that was really cool.
yeah, totally.
um, yeah. And then Smokey the Bear was a fun one too.
So good.
We did that, yeah. So
Yeah,
I immediately thought of the Spicoli shirt and his Vans belt,
yeah,
puka beads, peace sign. I took everything I possibly could in like the hipster, like beachy California guy,
yeah,
and I wanted to throw it into Smokey, and I called him Stokey because that's kind of our thing, is, you know, be stoked your beard is.
yeah, totally.
So and then beard drift, only you can prevent beard. It was fun.
For sure.
um
Yeah.
the shark was about Quint being taken down, and like from Jaws, because that's one of like my favorite movies of all time. So
Yeah.
that was, if he had to go down, man, he'd be smiling with like a bottle of the beard oil in his hand. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
um I love the Sailor Jerry aspect of things. So I had a tattoo artist friend of mine draw this up.
Yeah.
I really dig it. I just told him I wanted like that dark and stormy scent that I have. I said I want
Yeah.
that in like this cool tattoo design with our like phrase, you know. So
Yeah.
our
That's
motto.
epic. Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah. And then Santa Cruz is where the
Yep.
other one came from. It's super iconic, and I used to
Yep.
skateboard a lot and snowboard and stuff. So
Yep.
that was kind of a real fun one that I enjoyed working on my art
For sure.
with my artist.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the goal is really to just you get the Cali vibe throughout the brand, but
For sure.
the real basis of the whole thing is sustainability and eco-friendly.
Cool.
Everything that I try to do is really centered around that, and as much as I can give back with like One Tree Planted, we partnered with to help replant trees that were lost from the fires on the
Yeah.
West Coast.
Hmm.
Um, you know, that's kind of really the big base and the foundation of it. Throughout everything that I did when I first started trying to do any of this, it was organic, natural,
Yep.
eco-friendly, sustainability. Any company I work with has to be sustainable. It's like it's a big deal for me. I didn't want plastics. I
Yep.
didn't want you know, anything like that. So a lot of the packaging even I use is biodegradable,
Cool.
recyclable,
Yep.
you know, all eco-friendly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
um, what was the first product that you came up with, like for Bearded Coast?
The first thing was oil. I
Yeah.
had to get the oil right so
For
that I
sure.
could build off of that. So one thing I wanted to do was use the beard oil blend
Hmm.
rather than using just maybe 2 carriers, 3 carriers, or different carriers specifically for butters and balms. I just wanted to use the same beard oil blend across the board. And I knew that going in when I did it. I was like, I think that if you have a beard oil that does so much for your skin and beard,
Hmm.
why not just carry that good stuff all over to your other products as well? So I wanted to start on that. So once I had the beard oil 100% right, which definitely took a lot of time, I
Yeah.
then was able to say, okay, I'm gonna start working on my butter and balm.
Hmm.
I kind of did a little bit of it while I was working on the oil anyway, just to kind of get it going.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was definitely the first thing that I started with, was just the base, which was the oil.
Cool. That's awesome. Are there any product categories that you'd like to explore in the future?
I am delving into a couple things that are so if you've been following a little bit, you might have seen some tips on Instagram where I've been recently asking people about what their wash preferences were, and
Oh, yeah.
you know what. So that is actually coming very, very soon.
Yeah.
I will tell you that it's 96% naturally derived.
Nice.
So it is I'll give you that hint,
Yeah. Nice. That's
but
exciting.
it's going to be pretty cool. I'm really excited about it. um I think it's definitely very brand centric because of it being natural as possible.
For sure.
um and it should be I would say a daily driver wash. So it's not going to be
Cool.
overly
Nice.
stripping or anything
Yep.
like that. It's going to be just a really good, solid, everyday kind of wash.
Nice. Yep.
Mm.
I'm sold already.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So say 5 years from now, where would you like to see Bearded Coast Grooming?
I, I, with more growth means I can do more and I can give back more. That's
Yeah.
kind of my thing. Again, I did this as a hobby. I'm still doing this as a hobby. It's supposed to be fun, and I try to
Totally.
keep it fun, really
Sure.
lighthearted.
Yep.
And the more I can do, the more I can grow, the more I can give back. So in a perfect world, man, like I would be doing, I mean, even to think about it, Fables numbers or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
just that'd be overly fantastic, and I could just imagine like what I'd be able to do.
Hmm.
Um, what that's what I would love, of course. But again, I'm not overly trying to obsess about anything like that. I'm just
Hmm.
trying to have fun and enjoy everything and take my time with sense and take my time with all these different things and just let things happen the way that they're meant to.
Hmm. For
But I
sure.
want to help as much as I can. I want to give back, do charities, do auctions.
Cool.
That's kind of the goal of any extra funding from anything like this. Like I'm not interested as much into paying myself, or anything like that.
Yeah.
I do as much as I can now, and I want to do more.
For
So
sure.
if we get really really big in the next 5 years, man,
Mhm.
I could just imagine the kind of awesome
100%.
charity stuff I could do.
Totally. Yeah, that's awesome. That's the way it should be. Like big companies like that, like it's yeah, especially in like such like a tight knit community, like as the beard community, like you gotta give back and like be
Yeah.
involved in the community for sure. That's definitely a big thing.
Mhm.
Kind of switching gears a little bit. When did you first get on Instagram?
I think right about around when the company started. I am not a big social media fan or junkie at all. I had a Facebook account for just myself that I really just had to have.
Yeah.
Um, and I had never even used Instagram until I started. My wife was big into it, so I actually
Okay.
leaned on her to teach me, which is, I'm an IT guy, so it's kind of like I should have known this already,
No,
but it
that's
started
fair.
very rough, and I mean I picked it up very quick,
Hmm.
but uh, but yeah, she really took the wheel on making like helping with the photo work,
Yeah.
things like that. Like I wasn't good at any of that stuff. I didn't know how to post. I didn't even know how to post or really like how to work all that stuff. So she taught me a lot and showed me how to really do it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Instagram is a weird beast. Like I've
Yeah.
been like really like this year I've been like really seriously into it, but I've had Instagram since 2012, I think.
Hmm.
So
Nice.
I've been on for a while, but really this year like really exploring like messing with hashtags and like the
Yeah.
algorithm
Yeah.
and like all the science behind it. But
Oh man, it's
yeah.
crazy. You're right. You nailed it, dude. It is an absolute beast.
Yeah,
It's way more massive than I think a lot of people even think, like what
for
goes
sure.
into
Totally.
Facebook, Instagram posts. I was told I should probably try to start doing Pinterest and Twitter, but I was like, man, I literally live on Instagram now, and I told myself I would never live on a social media platform, but I
Yeah.
do. And I think I couldn't. I don't know if I could actually effectively go to sleep happy at night if I had to do 4 different social media platforms
Totally.
like that.
Yeah, no, it's Instagram, and especially like for like promoting a business, Instagram is the way to go. Like Twitter is like mostly for news, and like Pinterest is like kind of like inspiration, like design, like DIY kind of stuff. But if you're trying to like promote a brand and like showcase products, like Instagram is the best way to do it. It's like
Yeah.
so popular, like always improving, like they're always
Mhm.
adding new features to it. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah, Instagram is 100% the way to go.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so what's one thing that you've learned about Instagram since starting Bearded Coast?
Everything. But um, I
Oh,
guess they don't like the names of my some of my scents. So
hmm.
some of the, so Tangy Dream, for example,
Yeah.
and I didn't even really think about this, is actually a cannabis scent.
Okay.
So a lot of things are actually, if you
Yeah.
Google it, but it flagged because of that. So I
Huh.
actually still to this day will get that scent pulled for violations, and I have to go back and constantly tell them like, hey man, it's beard oil. It's just a
Yeah.
fragrance. It's nothing. Please don't pull this down, and then they'll put it back up. But
Yeah.
it seems like in every 3 or 4 week thing now, it just
Jeez.
flags, and I think it's their system.
Yep.
But I refuse to change the name because I like it. So,
Totally.
I just keep battling that. It is what it is, and
Yeah.
so that I think that's one thing that I've learned a little bit is about as I've moved forward, thinking more about the names and looking into it a little bit differently, and see, hoping that I wouldn't get another flag like that I have to deal with constantly forever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's odd for sure. Like, yeah, I have heard about other people like getting like photos flagged, but I've never heard of like certain like phrases getting a photo flagged on Instagram. That's really interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, it happens.
Yeah,
It's,
no.
ugh.
It's Instagram that's the other thing. Like Instagram, it's so powerful, but there's also so many weird, stupid things that it does that just why do you do this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I try to keep it super, super simple. And lately, actually, I've just been figuring out those little, I forgot what they're even called, the little circles in your profile.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
like
can,
the Instagram highlight like story. Yeah,
yeah,
Instagram highlights. Yeah.
yeah. I had one up for my blog, and then
Yeah.
I think my wife put it there when I was first starting, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should like put up more of those. So I recently partnered with the One Tree Planted, so I
Yeah.
put one up for that. And then I think today actually I was just thinking about it. I was like, I should put a reviews one up too. So I think
Totally.
that should be there at some point.
Hmm.
I think it takes a little bit of time, but that
Yeah.
and the link tree thing was pretty cool.
Oh,
I
Linktree
love.
is so helpful.
Oh man, I had no idea what it was. I kept seeing it pop up in some people's little posts and stuff. And then
Yeah.
when I first started, and then I never had it there until I really started expanding out to different things,
Hmm.
like YouTube channels and things like that. So then I found the use for it really there.
Yeah.
Um, when I can start throwing those up and giving people a little quicker access from Instagram. So
Yeah. Totally.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like on my profile here, like yeah, I've got the link tree right there.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I'm kind of like I learned this earlier this year, like having like cohesive like
Yes.
Instagram story highlight thumbnails is like
Hmm.
it just makes your profile seem more professional.
Oh
So
yeah.
like and like every time I make a new one, just like scrolling through and seeing them all is so like satisfying that they're all like consistent style and like I do them all. I have an app on my
Yeah.
phone, Logo Pit Plus. It does so many things like thumbnails, posters, like logos, like all that kind of stuff. And it's just
Mhm.
I have to make a new one for my new highlight story that I started
Oh yeah.
today.
Yeah, you got that right, man. Like I'm big about that too, like having
Yeah,
organization and image cohesiveness. So I thought about that already. I was like, man, I should really figure out how to get really like cool things that make sense for those
totally.
images. Yeah.
Yeah,
Haven't
yeah,
got there yet.
yeah. And I've helped a few other people with this like in the past few months. So if you ever like want some help with that, like I
Oh
like
cool.
I like doing
Thank
that kind
you.
of stuff. Yeah, yeah. So just
Appreciate that.
yeah, and like anybody that follows me, it's like also trying to like do reviews and like all that kind of stuff. Like I
Nice.
like doing posters and like doing logos and all that kind of stuff.
Sweet.
But yeah, but definitely one thing about Instagram that's tricky is like getting all your photos to be like a cohesive grid.
I
I'm not like
know.
like I'm not great about that because I want to like switch it up and do like videos sometimes, like different like nature photos, like.
Mm,
But then somebody that does it really well, a YouTuber that I watch named Peter McKinnon,
uh-huh.
like pull up his grid here. It's always so and like through the it like progresses through the seasons
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it's just like it go
Really
like
nice photos.
oh
I mean, like totally professional photo work, right?
oh
I
yeah
mean,
yeah
yeah, that's dope.
yeah yeah. There's lots of fiddly things with that you can do with Instagram for sure.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So if you could give somebody one piece of advice about like starting your own company, what would it be?
Stay humble.
Yep.
Yeah. So like,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, there is going to be opposition or issues, or someone might not like your platform, or someone might not like your brand, or someone might not like a sense. So again, every beard's different, every person's genetic makeup's different, so someone might not like your product at all, a reviewer, or be a supporter, or you get
Yeah.
some negative feedback.
Yeah.
Just stay humble about it, man. Like, most people, I think, let it get to them when they get
Mm-hmm.
criticized, or have negativity thrown at them. Again, like, I'm trying to have fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
always supposed to be that. It's always supposed to be a hobby, feel something good for me and my soul to do, like to
Totally.
feel good about myself,
Yeah.
and to give back a bit. So no matter what, I look at it and I say, hey, let's just look at it as constructive criticisms, and
Mm-hmm.
some people aren't going to like it, and that's okay. And
Yep.
and I think that's a good way to look at stuff. I've looked at a lot of things in life that way, personal life, business, anything like that. And
Yeah.
there's no point in sweating the small stuff. So I think, as a new company owner wanting to come into the scene, not every review is going to be perfect. You
Mm-hmm.
should understand that going in, and be okay with that. And just like a lot of people will say, if you don't like something, just hey, throw out some constructive criticism. What could I have done better? And really know that we all create these products based on our own personal needs and likes. So
Yeah.
our first test is on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
As we're going through all this stuff, it's on us.
Yep.
So if everyone's beard makeup and genetic makeup is a bit different, right, and what's good for one beard isn't good for the other, potentially, so along the way, you're now looking at this saying, I made this a lot for me, and my friends liked it, and my family liked it. That's great. That small pilot group liked it,
Yeah. For
So
sure.
as we're going and we're starting out and we're getting this feedback, we should tweak a little here and there
Mm-hmm.
where we can and where we're comfortable tweaking,
Mm-hmm.
to be a little more friendly to our audience,
Yeah. For sure.
and just take that feedback and smile about it and say, cool, man, these people are really just helping me grow.
Yeah.
Shrug it
Totally.
off, be
Yep.
humble,
Yep.
and continue on. That's, if you let it get to you, you're gonna fail. That's
Yep.
just what's gonna happen. If you let it get to you, you're not gonna you're gonna say something you shouldn't. You're gonna give up, and you're not gonna have what you wanted to start for the reasons you wanted to start it. So
Yep.
yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Kind of going back to like my initial like lineup of questions.
Hmm?
What's one place that you would love to travel to at some point?
Oh, like I said before, Germany, man, Oktoberfest. It's
Right.
been on
Yep.
the
Yep.
list
Yep.
forever. Like, that's if I had one place to go, one thing to do, that would be it. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Without the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't come to that. No, they can't.
Yeah. Fair.
Me and the wife. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah. For sure. Um. So if you could live anywhere, would you pick Germany or would there be somewhere else?
Um I had always actually said that it'd be really cool to live in like the UK or something.
Yep.
For a while, I really dig. I always wanted to pick up the accent. I think that's what it was. I
Yep.
always wanted to pick up that suave Bond accent, and never could pull it off at all.
For
I
sure.
way too monotone for that. So,
Yeah. Fair.
uh, but yeah, I would love to live. I always wanted to live abroad.
Yep.
Whether I'd come back or not, who knows, But
Totally.
the situation. I mean, having a family now, there's no, that's not happening. But
Yeah.
prior to that, man, like, yeah, I wanted to backpack through Europe and the
Solid.
UK, and just see where it landed me if I ever wanted to come home or not. That just didn't happen, but that's okay. But yeah, if I
Yeah.
could, I think I would probably I would live in another country for a couple years,
Cool.
and I would probably do that and bounce around to multiple different countries and just experience and live in their shoes for a while.
Yeah.
Rather than, and it's just immersing yourself in different cultures. I love doing that.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of in the process of like hopefully for next year, depending on what's going on with travel, like
Hmm.
doing like a big like UK trip, like going
Yeah,
through Europe, like ending up in like Iceland, like going through Norway, like
that'd be
through
sweet.
Scotland, like all those kind of places.
Yeah.
Just do like a month, like 3 weeks or a month, and just travel everywhere. Like
Oh, it's gonna go from a month to like a year once you get over there. I guarantee it. You're gonna be like, I'm not coming home this month.
Yeah,
Your
totally.
job's gonna be like, hey man, like, are you coming back? Nah, not
Yeah,
coming back, man.
not
I'll
yet.
see you next year. You
Totally.
have to, man. I don't know. I would. I mean, you're only young once, and you
Yeah,
only have that opportunity sometimes once.
for
You
sure.
never know. Life
Yeah,
is precious and short sometimes, so
totally.
gotta
Yeah.
enjoy it, man. That sounds amazing. You have to take photos,
Oh,
share them. Absolutely.
100%.
I
Like,
will like them on Instagram.
for sure. Yeah. Like, I want to get, like, I have, like, in my Amazon card, I have, like, over, like, 600 things saved for later. And, like, at least 100 of those things are specifically, like, in advance of that Europe trip.
Oh yeah,
like a like
absolutely.
a like a super like nice camera,
Yeah.
like 3 different lenses. Like I want to get like
Oh
an
yeah.
epic drone, like
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. I didn't even
100%.
think about the drone.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I'll show you an account that I follow that does insane drone content.
Oh yeah. I've always wanted to get a drone just to play with because I've seen so many people use them and it just seems so fun.
Yeah, so this is my buddy Espen. He's
I
out in
love his
Norway.
hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
like
can't have hair like that. Mine's completely falling out.
yeah.
Terrible.
See if this will play. All right, there we go.
I've become a hat guy.
Yeah, yeah. I usually, like when I go out, like I'll often wear a hat.
That
Yeah,
is the most terrifying thing I've seen in a long time. I am absolutely terrified of heights.
yeah,
Could never stand there. Won't happen.
yeah.
I think I would get sick flying a drone and just looking at the image.
Oh, 100%. No, I feel
Like,
yeah,
am I falling? I like this is
yeah,
making me nervous now.
totally. And actually, like I talk to Aspen like every once in a while. And I mentioned him that like as part of my Europe trip, like I want to go to Norway, and he was like, yeah, we should hike up here and like
Yeah.
up to Preikestolen. I'm like, I 100% want to, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna be terrified the whole time because
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
I'm not a big heights guy, but like
Yeah.
like the footage that he can get with a drone,
Oh
like
yeah.
just and like I feel like
That's
like a drone is just like one of those things that like you just like anywhere you go, you put some like epic music in the background.
yeah. Absolutely.
It just like it looks so good and like you could just be like flying over like a normal city, but just like
Oh
slow
yeah.
motion, like some like epic music, like
Hmm.
just yeah. And like I found a drone like just at Costco. That's
Hmm.
like from a pretty good brand. It's like one of their like lower tier ones. It's like
Hmm.
it's $500,
The
but
DJIs.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it would 100% get the job done.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, man, every time I've gone through Costco and seen those, I've almost picked one up and I keep going, man, I need so many diapers and formula and like
yeah,
she wants,
yeah.
that robot vacuum first, so I will. Oh yeah, I don't
Those are
blame her.
pretty
I
cool.
want it too. I tell you, we
Totally.
have 4 dogs and
Oh yeah.
and
So that would save you a lot of time.
oh man, we have to Swiffer every day,
Yeah,
especially during shedding season, to just keep that
totally.
thing at bay. It's
Yeah,
like another animal breeds out of the fur we we sweep up every day. It's absolutely disgusting.
yeah, fair. Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, I have so many things and like so much content that I would be like I'm probably gonna get a second phone at some point because like I have
Oh yeah.
a Samsung right now, but like the new iPhones just came out and I was watching actually one of Peter McKinnon's YouTube videos and I was like,
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah. I used to be an every 2 year guy with upgrading my phone.
Yeah,
But and I've always been an Apple guy. Well,
yeah,
I started with I had an Android. I had the first Android, that slide razor droid,
yeah,
and it was a it was just garbage. I
yeah,
did not like that phone whatsoever, and the operating system bothered me. But I
yeah.
moved to the and I'm primarily a Windows Linux guy. Like
Okay,
I don't, but for some reason the phone's just so simplistic, and
totally.
it never has a problem. I never have
Yep.
issues.
Mm-hmm.
I've just really always liked it. So, but my wife and I have had the 8. I made these last like way longer than they should have,
Mm-hmm.
and literally yesterday, for the second time, we were walking our kids at the park
Yeah.
and her phone dropped out and landed
Oh,
on the ground and the screen shattered. And I was
oh
like, okay,
no.
that's the second time and
Yeah,
that's
it's
okay.
yeah.
But we're getting new phones now. The
Yep.
12s just came out. We made
Yep.
these 8s. They've lasted now. The fourth generation iteration of past has come.
Yeah.
We're getting new phones.
100%. Yeah, that
So,
makes sense. Like,
yeah, so she just got herself that gold
ooh, yep.
Pro, the 12
12
Pro.
Pro, yep.
And I'm waiting for that Max to come out so I can get the blue one. It's dope looking.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, cause like my S20 is it's a huge phone,
I
and
love
like
that though.
yeah, it's I would definitely go like, which is why I'm kind of conflicted like on the iPhones because I'm definitely gonna get like one of the pros, but I'm just not sure if I like one I want to carry around two because like
Yeah,
the S20 is like almost a 7 inch 7 inch display, and
yeah,
then the Pro Max is like 6.7. So
yeah.
that's can't carrying around two big phones.
It's a
Like
lot.
it's a
Yeah,
lot, and like
yeah,
paying for them is a lot, but
yeah.
bigger battery, bigger screen. Like I've like ever since I got the iPhone 6, I've been like a bigger phone screen kind of
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, me too.
So like the smarter thing would be to get the smaller one, but I think I'm just gonna wait a little longer until I can get the bigger one because it's
Yeah.
just a better experience.
Yeah, especially if you're really gearing towards photos, because having
Totally.
that larger screen, like for me, my issue's always been like my vision anyway. Like I benefit better from reading text, and because I read a lot of
Yeah.
news articles and different
Mm-hmm.
things on my phone. Now I'm on Instagram all the time and
Yep.
Facebook. So
Yep.
I really like having as big of a screen as I possibly can. And the weights have gotten better. You know, they're not as heavy as they used to be.
True.
I know with my 8 Plus, I had been trying to make it last for so long that the battery is garbage now.
Yep.
So I had to get one of those battery cases.
Yep.
So now it's literally like a brick in my pocket. It's insane. Like it literally, like I think it shrugs off and sags one side of my pants. It's
Yep.
terrible. I have to keep pulling them up all the
Yep.
time. And
Totally.
so I'm excited to get a new phone with a battery that's lighter, and
Oh, 100%.
they look great, and
Oh,
the
totally.
camera capabilities though are fantastic. So I
Ridiculous.
mean, it'll be a big upgrade for me. I'm excited to see what pictures
Yeah.
I can take with that.
Totally. Yeah. It's like I watched the initial like Apple event when they released the new phones, and I
Oh
was
yeah,
like, it's cool.
yeah.
But then like I started seeing the photos, and I'm like, crap.
Well, you know though that they're like taking the most amazing photos, they're editing it perfectly and showing you those, you know. But
Oh, for sure.
there's but it's and the only thing, I mean, I think it's so excessive to have three lenses
Well,
on a phone. I
I
just think
mean,
it looks silly.
speaking of
I Why
excessive,
can't we?
that
Yeah,
say hello to the spider.
I know it's just so much, man. Like
Yeah.
it's like I like the minimal idea of like just having one lens, and I think my 8 has two,
Yeah.
but it just looks silly to me.
Yeah,
And
that's
like,
fair. I can see that.
but I guess at the same time, how do you put all this technology into an ultra slim device that's
Yeah,
probably
you have to
you
have
know
like, and there's so much variety that you can get with
yeah.
like an ultra wide, like a
Mhm.
telephoto, and then like a standard wide. Like,
Right. So it'll be interesting. Like I'm really excited to. It's gonna be, for me. It's gonna be a huge jump. I haven't played with the 9, the 10, the 11, or
yeah.
whatever they called them. And so from my 8 to this,
Oh,
it's
that's
it
gonna be a
should be
huge, especially
amazing.
like because because the eights came out the same year as the iPhone 10. Like
Right.
that was kind of like the more radical redesign.
Mm.
So like going from like that to the 12 Pro would be one thing, but especially going from an 8,
Yeah.
like you're
Oh,
going
dude,
from
I believe me, man. Like as of yesterday, because I went and I pre-ordered my wife's yesterday.
yeah,
They're not pre-ordering the on Verizon. They're not
yeah,
pre-ordering the Max yet, but I
okay,
got hers done because so I did their drop down comparisons on
yeah,
Apple's website to
yeah,
just what really has changed. Because I missed that event. I watch those all the time, but I missed this one.
yeah,
Um, and it's pretty. I mean, like obviously it's super generations old. So it's a very significant difference, and I'm really
totally,
excited to. Man, I'm really excited to get a new phone,
yeah.
especially for that camera experience.
Oh,
I really
100%.
genuinely think between just the 12 and the Pro, it's really just that camera experience that you're
Yeah,
paying for the most part, right?
yeah, yeah. Because like I've compared the specs, and the
Yeah,
12 to the 12 Pro, it's the same size screen, like,
yeah.
but I think you get the extra camera, and I think you get better cameras because I think they're slightly downgraded on the
The
like,
sensor, right, is
yeah,
a big difference too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Pro Max.
Talking nerd now.
Oh, 100%.
Get
That's
me going for hours.
same here, totally. Like I've seen like some of the low light photos that
Yeah.
I've seen from this, like from these phones, like
Yeah.
just madness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that that looks like it was taken on a proper camera. Like
Yep. Yeah,
it's
it'll be exciting to see what what I can actually do with it,
yeah,
and
totally.
when these have been perfectly edited for the website, right?
Yeah,
But
true.
yeah,
Well,
it'll
even just like normal people just like messing
yeah.
around with their phones will like, especially like you're 8, like you'll notice a difference guaranteed just in like your like average just like point and shoot.
Yeah.
And also the display's better on the 12s because like
Oh, huge difference.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you go from an LCD on the 8 to the OLED, like the upgraded
Yeah.
OLED
Oh yeah.
on the 12 Pro. Like it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like my siblings and my parents, like, oh, my mom has, and all my siblings have the new iPhone SE.
Hmm.
And like because I've been used to OLED. Like my last 3 phones have had OLED displays.
Oh
So like
yeah.
you can tell a difference. Like if you never use
Yeah.
them, you
Yeah.
like you have no idea. But if you like compare the two, like I've thought about like just getting like an iPhone like 11, like just the standard one as like a second phone. But like
Mm.
I just I'm so spoiled by the OLED on my S20. Like
Yeah.
it's just yeah.
It's like going back and watching a movie on 1080p when you've experienced 4K, like the
Mhm.
Blu-ray 4K. Like even then it's like I'm just like, wow, like there really is such a difference. So
Yeah,
it's yeah, and the brightness and stuff is pretty
for
cool.
sure.
Yeah.
You get the it's yeah. Like I've yeah. like because like the last like I switched from iPhone like after my iPhone 6 because I was bored of like the iPhone operating system, just because like I've always been like a big tech nerd and
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
so just like I wanted to switch it up. But like
Mm-hmm.
especially seeing like all the improvements they've made, like just it's exciting to see for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't want to keep you too much longer.
Oh, no
But
worries.
yeah, so kind of wrapping up,
Hmm.
we've kind of like referenced your different like social media pages, but like if somebody wants to like get in contact with you and like ask you about your products, like
Yeah.
would you say Instagram's the best way to do it?
It's probably. I mean, I monitor everything. My phone's glued to my hip at all
Yeah,
times.
same.
So I try to be, I try to be super responsive. Like
Yeah,
that's kind of my thing. Like
totally.
so yeah. Instagram is great. That's probably the best, quickest way for me to chat back and forth.
Mhm.
But always there's the contact us on our
Yeah,
website. You can use that too. I again, my phone's on me, so if I see an email come in, I instantly look at it. So it's
yeah,
and I'll reply. It's pretty quick.
totally.
And now you can use Facebook Messenger. I have that
Yeah,
on my phone. So really, Instagram's the best. But any way that you want to reach out, my goal is to try to hit you back as quickly as possible.
for sure.
And get you what you need. So
Yeah, yeah. And so for everybody watching, I'll have all the links down below: YouTube channel, like blog, your website, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. You can easily check them out, as well as the website. If you just want to check out some products, I'll probably do it as soon as possible.
thank you.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. This is a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely, man. I appreciate you inviting me. It's definitely it's been a great conversation, a lot of fun. Now you've got me wanting that iPhone even more and a drone. So my wife's gonna hate that. Who talked you into buying that $500 drone? This guy, man.
I just get a message like, oh.
I didn't get the robot vacuum. No, you got a drone. Attach it to a vacuum, I guess, and push it around.
Something like that, yeah. 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 Thanks for coming on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime.
This is great.
Awesome. Man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching.